So I will go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Paul Marty to start us out today.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Mott. I really appreciate that. My name is Paul Marty. I'm a professor here in the School of Information at Florida State University. And I'm here to talk to you about what it means to be an information scientist. So I'm going to go ahead and put up those words. And I am an information scientist. And one of the benefits to being an information scientist is that after years and years of study, you learn how to read minds. Which is how I know right now you're thinking to yourself, what the heck is an information scientist? And like any good professor, I'm going to go ahead and answer your question by asking one of my own. And it looks like we just have one person in the room, so I'm going to go ahead and ask Janika, have you ever heard of the website Rate My Professor? Yes, excellent. Have you visited the site? And you're rated on the site. Excellent, very good. Well, I'm also rated on the site, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up my entry right there. And if you were to scroll through my entry, you'll find a mix of positive and negative reviews. The negative reviews all say that I ramble too much and I go way too far off topic and I spend way too much time talking about myself, and all of those things are true. But the positive reviews say that I'm passionate about the topics that I teach and I care about the students, and the students learn a lot in my classes. And two of those things are true. Of course, what's most important here is that I don't have a hot pepper, which is very, very sad. Many of the other faculty in our schools do have a hot pepper, such as Dr. Mott. So now I'm feeling really left out. I should also point out that my wife is also a professor at Florida State University, and she has a hot pepper. So this is a source of never-ending controversy in our home. So of course, the question that this raises here is that this is all extremely valuable information. So how much do we pay for this? I'll go ahead and target that toward our audience member. We are recording. I'll target this toward our audience member. Janika, how much do you pay for this information, this valuable information? You don't pay anything. Well, so how do they make their money? I mean, they have to keep the lights on and the servers going and all of this stuff. Well, I assume Janika probably knows, but I use this question as sort of an icebreaker question when I'm talking with undergraduate students in particular about our degree programs and what it means to study information technology and what it is that information scientists do. And it's interesting that many students have never really thought about how these sorts of sites like Rate My Professor get funded. And of course, it turns out that there are a lot of companies out there that will gladly pay for information about college classes. Right? Which ones are the most popular, which ones the students very much like to teach. And you can make a lot of money by selling that information to those companies. The information that I should point out, you, the student, are giving those companies for free. All right, let's think about this for a second. Suppose, for some reason, you were running a company and it was very important to you to find out which professors were well respected by their students, which professors were good teachers, which classes were popular on college campuses across the country. And you could develop a survey and send that out to college students nationwide or around the world. But, well, if you got a survey like that in your email, would you fill it out? Exactly. But instead, let's imagine that we create a service like this, Rate My Professor's website, that we offer you for free, where you can go in and you can rate professors at universities around the world, and you can read what other students think about the professors around the world. And all this is for free, and in doing so, we can glean a tremendous amount of valuable information about classes and professors at universities worldwide, which then we can turn around and sell that information to other people. So you see how it works. It's cool and it's sneaky at the same time. And the lesson that this raises here is often sort of pithily described as if you aren't paying for it, you're the product. We have found ourselves in a very interesting world, a world where companies, many companies, can make more money by selling information about you to other people than they can by selling products directly to you. That's really key, so let me say that again. These companies can make more money selling information about you to other people than they can by selling products directly to you. so much so that they're willing to offer you free services to encourage you to give them more information about you. This is a very different world from the one that I grew up in, and increasingly from the one that our students are growing up in. I have two kids, both boys, 11 and 6, and they have never known a world without video on demand. All right, now, of course, they know that in the old days, if you wanted to watch a show on television, you had to be there in front of the TV at a particular time and at a particular day, and if you missed it, you missed it, and you could never see it again. But they don't know how we ever lived that way. And you know, honestly, I have no idea how we lived that way. And most of our undergraduate students have no idea how anybody ever lived that way either. So, just the other day, for instance, we were watching Jurassic Park 2. You know, that's the one where the T-Rex destroys San Diego. And there's a scene at the end where the T-Rex crashes into a video rental store, at which point my 11-year-old turned to me and he said, "What is that, some kind of library for CDs?" Welcome to the future. It is a scary place. So, we live in a world where Disney tracks everything you do. Does anybody here know what that little girl has on her arm? She has what Disney calls a magic band. And they've been rolling these out now over the past several years. In fact, my wife, who I mentioned, is also a professor here at Florida State. She actually got to be a beta tester for this back when they were first starting it. It's really cool. So we have one of the very early ones here in the house. So it is a tracking bracelet. And it's linked to your account at Disney. It opens and closes your hotel room door. You can charge anything you buy at the shops or the restaurants. It works for your fast pass rides, so you know when to get in line for the different roller coasters and everything. Everything that you need to do at Disneyland is on that magic band. So in fact, you don't actually take anything with you. You can leave everything in your hotel room safely and just wander around with that bracelet on, and it magically does everything that you need it to do. And of course, at the same time, it also tracks everywhere you go in the park. So Disney is offering you a tremendous convenience in exchange for a large amount of tracking data about their visitors, data that of course can be extremely useful to them. So we live in a world where Disney tracks everything that you do. We live in a world where Target knows you're pregnant before your parents do. How many people remember this story from a few years ago? So what happened in this situation is that, well, advertisers are very keen to get their products in front of people as soon as possible. Because once you start buying something, it's very hard to get you to switch brands. And there are, unfortunately, very few moments in people's lives where you have an opportunity to get a brand new product in front of them, something that they never had to buy before, but now they have to buy a lot of. And advertisers are willing to pay a lot of money for that opportunity. And one of the times in most people's lives where that happens is when you're about to have a baby for the first time. Because all of a sudden, you have to think about things that you will need to buy that you have never had to buy before, like, say, diapers. And the nice people at Huggies will give a tremendous amount of money to anybody who will make sure that their ads for Huggies diapers gets in front of the prospective parents-to-be before the Pampers people get their ads in front of those people. So the sooner you can find out that someone is pregnant, the happier the advertisers will be if they can get their ads in front of that person. So a few years ago, Target got actually into a lot of trouble about this because they went through their data analysts and they said, you know, we would really like to push some targeted pregnancy baby product ads at our pregnant shoppers. And we need to know if there's any way we can find out if someone is pregnant. And of course, it turns out it's extremely easy to do because when someone becomes pregnant, they start buying things they have never bought before. Prenatal vitamins, cocoa butter. So it was trivially easy for the data analysts at Target to get the advertisers a list of people. And they did this entire ad campaign. Now, I'm not making this up. They did this entire ad campaign where they sent out all these flyers to people at their homes that said, "Congratulations on your pregnancy. Here are a bunch of coupons you might want." Right? I'm not making this up. So you can imagine this didn't go over very well. Right, so there's a famous story about the father who storms into Target angry that his 16-year-old daughter was sent all these pregnancy coupons because, of course, he didn't know she was pregnant, but Target knew. So they've had to become a lot sneakier about this now, by the way. So if you ever get those little coupon books from places like Target, they look like they're generic books, but scattered within those books are targeted coupons based on what they know about you. They're trying not to be so blatant anymore. It's just because they don't want to get people into trouble. Oops is right. So we live in a world where Target knows you're pregnant before your parents do. We live in a world where Amazon knows when you run out of dish soap and automatically mails you more even before you know you're going to need it. And I don't know how many people here participate in, for example, Amazon's subscribe and save system. But we live and die by it here in our household. It's funny, talking about Target a second ago, I haven't been to a store like Target in years because anything non-perishable just shows up on our front porch. Now, the flip side to this is Amazon knows exactly how much toilet paper our family of 4 uses in a month. So, but you know what? I'm willing to trade them that information for a discount on the toilet paper and for the toilet paper to just magically show up on my front porch once a month, then I don't have to go out and get it. And we do this for everything. We tell Target, here's how much soap we go through in a month. Here's how much toothpaste we go through in a month. Here's how much Tide detergent we go through in a month. You name it, if we can get it sent to us free by Amazon Prime with a 15% discount once a month showing up the right amount that we need, I'm willing to give up a tremendous amount of personal information in exchange for that convenience. And that is a very interesting world in which we live. And in fact, most people are very willing to make that trade-off. It's interesting that when people are surveyed, there was a survey that went around just a year ago asking people if they were willing to trade their privacy for online convenience. And the majority of people, more than 50%, said no. But they're lying. Because it turns out that when push comes to shove, when people are given the choice, privacy or convenience, people choose convenience every time. Now, somewhere somebody draws a line, and everyone's going to draw a line for their own individual purposes, but Amazon knows where that line is for you and for everybody else. We also live in a world, if I can bring up an FSU project here, we know where Professor Owen Mundy here at Florida State University in the art department knows where your cat lives. And this is a project that made international headlines about a year ago when he went live with this. So he's a professor here in the Department of Art, does very interesting online art, and he did this project to raise awareness about privacy issues with online photographs. So he took 1 million+ cat pictures that he found on the open internet, places like Flickr or Instagram, that anybody can see. And he looked to see if there were GPS coordinates embedded in these images. Because, of course, most people don't realize that when you take pictures with a digital camera, those coordinates are in there unless you take them out. So we took over 1 million+ pictures of cats, scraped out the geocode information. He actually then anonymized all the pictures and removing all the metadata. And then uploaded them all to a site that he's running called I Know Where Your Cat Lives. And it will show you all of these cats around the whole world where they live. And of course, it hit what's exactly what you need to go viral on the internet, right? It had the internet, it had privacy, and it had pictures of cats, right? So everything that you needed, and everybody was writing about this and talking about it, and it was a really great project. And it has helped to raise a lot of awareness about privacy issues with these photographs. One of the things that he always said in any interview he did, that he named the project, I Know Where Your Cat Lives. But this could just as easily have been named, I Know Where Your Kid Sleeps. And And this sort of level of awareness is important for people to grasp. The funny thing is, guess how many complaints that he has received from people upset that the picture of their cat is on his website? That's right, 0. Not a single person is upset about that at all. He has, however, received many, many complaints about this website. Do you know what these people are complaining about? No, that their cats are not on his website. So he has to write back to them and explain that if they want their cats to show up on his website, they need to post a picture of their cat on some publicly accessible website that he can then scrape and download the picture and pull their geo information out. Right? So this shows you what people really think about online privacy. So this is an extremely complicated world where Disney, Target, Amazon, and FSU professors are tracking the things you buy, the places you go, and where your cats live. And as a world, we desperately need people who understand this phenomenon. And this takes us back to information scientists. So information scientists are people who study how we as a society respond to the changing nature of the information world around us. And this is really important because we are all drowning in information. Your average mom and pop store generates more information in a month than the entire Library of Congress did in the first 200 years of our nation's history. You look at the big data statistics and they are astonishing. Right? We are generating more data in 2 days now than have been created in the entire world up to the year 2010. Most of this data is worthless, but it's still out there. And it's a tremendous sea of information that we need to wade through. And we depend upon information scientists to create, organize, manage, access, and evaluate information in all kinds of different things. So information scientists manage the digitization of millions of biological specimens around the world. They implement social media strategies for companies across the nation around the world. They work to improve broadband access in rural communities. They experiment with new 3D printing technologies. And they teach coding skills to middle school girls and Girl Scouts, different schools. And all of these projects are FSU projects involving faculty and students in the School of Information here at Florida State. We run a national consortium of biological specimen imaging. We have leaders working in social media projects. We are pushing rural broadband connectivity across the state of Florida. We do a lot of work with 3D printing, and we do a lot of educational outreach to teach kids how to code. And what all of these projects have in common is that they all focus on the intersection of people, information, and technology. And that intersection is what we in the School of Information and what we in the information science field call informatics. And if you're interested in any of those topics, you might be interested in our programs and in our school. So this is our building here on FSU's campus. It's located right in the center of campus, actually right next to the main library. It's also the home of our library science library, which is one of the friendliest libraries on campus and a great place to study. And we have a wide variety of degrees that you can choose from. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about our bachelor's degrees programs, and then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mon. So we have a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. We have 2 different majors in that degree program, a major in Information Technology and a major in Information Communication and Technology. You can read about all of this on websites or on the slide here. But we have a large number of students across both of these majors, about a little more, close to 500 students now. The prerequisites are pretty standard for all of this. These are if you're looking at undergraduate programs, these are pretty typical undergraduate prerequisites to get into any major. And there's some subtle differences between the 2 majors, mostly in terms of the required foundation courses. but there is also a lot of overlap as well. And our students in these courses focus on a bunch of different areas. So the students in our IT major focus on areas in design and development, and networking and security, health informatics. We have a wide variety of other electives that they can choose on as well. And of course, they all take our foundation courses in information science and information systems and services and technologies for information services, technical communication, research and data analysis. Our ICT students focus on different areas, a little broader: research skills, technical skills, strategies in information and communication technology, different perspectives in ICT. We also have a very nice bridge program where students in 5 years can get both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in information technology, which is increasingly popular among our students. Our students have been very successful. We have a wide variety of jobs in many different companies, good placement, good career placement, a bunch of different areas. As you can see, a wide variety of different companies there. And all of these jobs that our IT students are getting have very good, good paying jobs with positive outlooks for the future. So hopefully this sounds interesting, and to tell you a bit more about these jobs and these career opportunities, let me turn it over to Dr. Mullen.
Okay,
right
thanks very much for Dr. Paul Marty for that really interesting discussion. So I wanted to follow on a little bit with the discussion about the careers and the jobs available. And so we mentioned the bridge program that we have for careers in information technology. Beyond these areas of web developer and health information technology specialist, database information architect specializations, and network and information security analyst, there is a big need for people who are the leaders and the managers in information technology. These are the people making those big decisions in organizations. What technology should we buy for our government agency or our company or our educational organization? Should we go to the cloud for storing and managing our information? Should we use handheld and mobile devices in our company or go to wearable technologies? So these are the people that are the technology leaders and managers, the thinkers who are looking ahead to things like smart technologies, cars that drive themselves, smart devices that are automatically tracking and reporting information, like we saw with Disney, or like your Fitbit, or a smart refrigerator that can tell you, you're out of milk. Go ahead and make that shopping list for you even. So thinking about this, what does this mean for us as we move into the future of this increasing technological supplement to all our lives? Should we change our technology strategies in a particular company or institution? Should we be moving to 3D printing? The people that do that kind of work would be the chief technology officers and the chief information officers, the information technology managers, the folks at the higher levels in organizations who are making these big decisions. And the snapshot you see there of the 3D printer is from our collaboratory. We have an information maker space in our library where students can work with 3D printers, 3D modeling stations. They can use Oculus Rift 3D virtual reality visors. We have Raspberry Pis and little bits circuit building kits. You can build robots and other devices and just get hands-on with these emerging technologies. So if you see yourself in that kind of role where you want to be that leader, that manager, the visionary, decision maker about how information is managed and how technology is purchased and implemented for a whole organization, that's the reason that we added our master's degree in information technology for our students, because many of our students get fantastic jobs just with the bachelor's degree. They do interesting work, they earn a great salary, but then in many organizations there is this glass ceiling that you encounter where if you don't have the master's degree, you can be promoted in rank and salary only up to a certain point. And then you start to see other people who have that master's degree being promoted beyond you, but you still can't seem to rise any further. So that was a real issue for our students, that they were interested in having a degree in IT at the master's level, and we've made it available entirely online because many of our people are working in these great jobs and would like to be able to take this in an online kind of environment. These degrees in Master of Information Studies and Master of Information Technology that we offer allow you to add technology skills you might need or want, if you need to add further tech skills, as well as adding information leadership skills, information management skills, and technology leadership and management skills for those who want to go on to these roles of leaders and managers in organizations. And this is what our master's degree in IT would look like. So you have 4 core courses on that left-hand side, 12 credit hours, 20 credit hours of electives, and some examples are on the right-hand side. So if you wanted to focus in getting more technology, you might take courses such as information security, network administration, but there's also leadership and management courses that you might need, such as planning, evaluation, and financial management, human resource management, and management of health information technology if you're in a health organization. Both our master's degrees in information technology and in information studies are all online. So this is an example of what a master's class might look like, the kinds of things that you would learn in the class. So you could, for example, choose a sequence of 2 courses about networks. You might want to learn more about databases and data security, so then you'd think about taking a database management systems course. The web administration area is another strength. A web presence of an organization is just so critically important now, both the public-facing kinds of websites and then the internal websites that employees may use. And so we offer a sequence of 3 courses where you can build your skills with websites and web server administration. But it's not just about having technologies or building technologies. It's also a question of whether people will actually use your technologies once you build and implement them. So how do you assess technologies? How do you test the usability of your websites and your information management systems? So we have courses such as usability that help you to not just create, but also assess how usable this website or this information system is that you've created, and will people actually be able to use it? We also have a course in persuasive technology, and this is about creating websites and technologies not just usable, but that people really want to use. There's a term called stickiness, websites and sources that people come back to over and over again. Technologies that will influence, even teach and change behaviors. And so this is a course that would help you to learn how to build that kind of a site or system. And we also have a great strength in the health area. We have classes focusing on managing technology in specific kinds of environments, such as managing health information technology. Here in the U.S., organizations have been mandated to change over their health records to electronic medical health care records. And that's created tremendous demand for people who are expert in IT, and not just any IT, but understanding the special needs of the healthcare environment. We also have an aging population, so that need for healthcare and health information management is just continuing to grow here. And we're very strong in this area. We have faculty in successful longevity and health who are very expert. And we are continuing to grow that area, even looking forward to adding a health information technology graduate certificate in future. But if this is not necessarily an area that you're that comfortable with, we also have courses to help you out there. So if you're thinking that you'd like to get into this, but it's a lot to learn, we have an Intro to IT class, and that brings you into this area, gets you to where you're comfortable and a proficient user of IT. So there's lots of hands-on practice and learning skills there. And if you're wondering what our classes are actually like, you are in one of our online classrooms. This is what our classes are like. We generally tend to teach our courses live online in this webinar style of environment, so you can see and hear and interact with fellow students and use audio, video, look at websites. There's all kinds of things that you can do in this kind of a webinar classroom. It's another example of the advancing technology and the different things it's enabling and changing, that you can have a class like this live online. If you're interested in graduate level study, but looking for something a little shorter, a shorter option, maybe you'd be interested in a certificate program. And you can get a certificate with us, such as information technology areas or information leadership areas. We have graduate certificate programs in information architecture and information leadership and management. This is a matter of taking 4 different classes, and you would get a certificate, so it's a little shorter. It sort of dipping your toe in and getting a sense of what it might be like to do this, and if you needed to get some experience first in technology areas, we often suggest taking a look at our information architecture graduate certificate and seeing if you like it, getting a chance to experience it and have a certificate in this area. And we have PhD programs in information studies where you'd come to Tallahassee, Florida, and to work and learn with our faculty, get involved in the kind of research that we're doing. So this would be for people interested in being a professor and researcher and teaching that next generation, doing the cutting edge research in information science and technology. Dr. Marty showed you some of the other projects that we're involved with. This is another example, the Florida IT Alliance project. We have PhD students collaborating on research projects, exploring information technology education and the next generation of IT workforce needs, and also getting involved in projects like Habitat Tracker, which is using information technology, iPad app development, and supporting children's learning of science in connection with the local Tallahassee Museum. And that was actually a project of Dr. Paul Marty's. And in terms of opportunities as well, I wanted to mention we have a scholarship program, a new learning community where master's students join us. They have fully paid tuition and fees in a one-year intensive program. So we bring in a new group of master's students each semester. They focus in 4 different career areas: web developer administrators, computer system security analysts, health informaticists, and digital youth specialists. And in spring, this coming spring 2016, we're looking at a focus on health informaticists and digital youth areas. IDEA stands for Innovation, Digital Fluency, Entrepreneurship, and Advocacy. And these are skills that employers have been telling us they need from new information managers and information technology professionals. So we only take a small number of IDEA students each semester. We started the program just this last fall, and we have 6 students currently, and those students are focused in the web administrator, developer, and health informatics areas. The students are participating in internships. They have a paid graduate assistantship for 20 hours a week. And they take classes together. They're part of this learning community. As an IDEA student, there's always somebody that you know in all of your classes. So if you're interested in IDEA, you want to apply by November 1st to be able to start in the spring 2016 cohort. And there are lots of other ways that you can become involved in student groups on our campus. What it's like in general to be here. We have student organizations you can join with other students who are interested in information technology for socializing and for educational events. They also give you some opportunities to meet and to hear from employers in the field. WISE is our student group for women in the information technology fields. Our faculty member, Dr. Shiyuan Ho, is the faculty advisor to FSU's Cybersecurity Club, and they've been competing in collegiate cyber defense competitions against teams from other schools around the country. And we have a yearly student technology competition and showcase called Digitech every spring, where students demonstrate their technology projects and they win prizes. So employers also come and see what students are doing with technology. And just a quick snapshot of our beautiful and lively campus here. There's always something going on at Florida State. So if you love sports, we have really strong sports teams here. If you love nature and beautiful surroundings, we're not far from beautiful white sand beaches, and we have lots of parks and national nature preserves around. And one of the unique and interesting aspects here is that we have our own circus. So Florida State University students can choose to get involved with the Flying High Circus and even to take a circus class. You see our Circus Big Top here. It's down by our stadium. And the performers in the circus are all FSU students. In fact, we've had a couple of our doctoral students get involved in this just to have that experience. And they're coming up. The performances are actually coming up in October, so looking forward to that. So I hope you'll consider joining us at Florida State University, either as an online distance student or here in person in Tallahassee. If you'd like to see a little bit about what our students are up to from day to day, you can also check us out on social media. So I will put those links in here. And thanks so much. I see we already have some questions already, so I'm going to finish putting these links in. Question was, can students apply through the Florida-Canada Linkage Institute if they apply to these programs? I don't know the answer to that one. Let me just ask if Jade is familiar with that, because she's one of our experts on this. So that's something we'd need to check into, but we can do that and send back the information if that would be helpful. And also, please feel free to add any other questions you might have. I'm popping in my email address there. So if anyone has questions, you can also refer to that email address, and happy to help you out. So I'm going to jump the gun on Jade for a second here. So we do have language exam requirements, and I'll let Jade finish up the answer here, but I can also, a TOEFL test would be one, and IELTS is another that I know we would accept for language fluency. But in this case with Canada, we also do have graduate exam. The GRE is our preferred exam for the master's courses or PhD, but we will accept other exam scores as well. So GMAT, LSAT, so some of the different graduate exams, we're flexible on taking those. And we also do not have a date requirement. That is to say, some schools say that you must have had your exam in the last 5 years, but we'll accept older exams. A question about French speakers who took their undergrad in English. So for non-native speakers, the rule is taking an English proficiency test such as TOEFL or the IELTS, and that's a requirement of the university. And thanks so much for joining us. It was great having you here. Okay, well, thanks so much. So I guess we will call it a wrap then, and we'll definitely be back in touch and send you some links that you can share. Really appreciate your setting this up for us. Thank you.